This last spring, we were called to. Well, we didn't know exactly what it was. It was a call for an unconscious person. We typically get pretty sparse details when we go en route, so we don't really know what we're going to. But based on the details that we were getting en route, it seemed like it could be a big call. And sure enough, we opened the front door, came in, and we saw Suzanne here doing compressions on Kathy, full-blown CPR. So, a witnessed cardiac arrest has about 10% chance of survival. And they say that bystander CPR is what saves lives. When we walked in the door, I immediately called over my shoulder to the other two firefighters and told them that we got a core zero. But I kind of did a second look because the compressions that Suzanne was doing were actually textbook compressions. Usually when we get on scene and we see a bystander doing CPR, it's not the best quality usually. It's the best chance that patient has at survivability, but the compressions that we saw Suzanne doing were actually pretty professional. We're hiring, by the way. So we got in there, immediately took over, did our thing, pulled out all our tricks. Kathy got a couple shocks, we got to electrocute you. Probably broke some ribs, so I'm sorry about that. But typically when we go to a scene like that, we have two waves of patients. We have the primary patient who we're called there for, which was Kathy. And then once we do everything, load the patient up, get them to the ER, the OR, the cath lab, wherever they happen to be going for that emergency, then we have a second wave of patients. We have to turn to the family members who are pretty distraught over having to do or see what they just saw there. But that was not the case with Suzanne. Not only was she doing textbook CPR, she immediately went to the other room and started talking to our captain, saying, okay, these are the medications, these are the allergies, this is her medical history. She was so professional and businesslike about it that after Kathy left in the ambulance, we're like, I'm not entirely sure that Suzanne knows what's going on right now. So we turned to her thinking that this was going to be our next patient for the call, and she didn't need to be. She knew exactly what was going on. We didn't know it at the time, but she is a medical professional. She does work in a hospital. This is something that she's seen before, probably not something that you ever expected to do on a loved one, a family member. But again, bystander CPR is what saves lives, and because Suzanne was there that day, witnessed it, took action, and did some phenomenal medical care, Kathy's able to join us today. So, wrote you up for a little award. It was extremely deserving, and Chief DeMint's going to say a few words on the award now.
Yeah, I just to jump on what Tom talked about is it does take a village. You've heard that phrase before, but it does, and community CPR is key, and this is our learning moment for the public is if you don't know CPR, learn it, and CPR is really easy to learn now. It's hands only. You don't have to learn to breathe for people. You just need to learn how to do compressions, and you can save a life. And that life you save may be somebody that's very close to you, and that's very important. The other thing you can do to make yourself even more available for that is sign up for the Pulse Point app. We initiated that a couple of years ago. That will summons you if you're within a quarter of a mile of someone that's in a public area that goes into cardiac arrest. Tell you where the nearest AED is. So it's a good teaching moment for that as well. But back to the matters at hand, I would like to read this certificate we were going to present you with after Tom's great presentation of what happened. But this is what the certificate says. On March 21st, 2017 at 12:30 p.m., C-Shift Engine 4 responded to a report of a woman losing consciousness. Upon arrival, approximately 4 minutes later, the crew of Engine 4 entered the residence to find Ms. Suzanne Hampton providing textbook quality chest compressions on Ms. Kathy Bath, who was pulseless and apneic on her kitchen floor. Ms. Hampton had immediately recognized the severity of the situation and called 911. Within seconds of identifying cardiac arrest, Ms. Hampton began CPR until relieved by the arrival of the Engine 4 crew. Ms. Hampton's calm and decisive actions that day led to the full recovery of Ms. Bath, who was discharged from the hospital with a second chance at life. It is for these reasons that the Poudre Fire Authority bestows upon Ms. Hampton its prestigious Citizen Lifesaving Award. So, Suzanne, Tom, you want to present that to us?